The product to be exported is blueberries. Blueberry is a bluish-black fruit or berry that is part of the group of forest fruits. The leader departments of production in Peru are Lambayeque, La Libertad, Ancash, Lima, and Ica. Since 2018, the land hectares have been growing, going from 6,000 hectares to 15 hectares in the present year. But that's not all. There is a projection that in 2024 will reach 20,000 hectares. The tariff heading is 0.1840, and the tariff for most favored nations is 0%, which is convenient. Also at the right, we'll have the nutritional value for each 100 grams of blueberry. So we choose the product because it's the number one in the agro export sector. In 2021, it grows 57.9%, and Peru is the world leader exporter, so it means there is a lot of potential. Also because this fruit has a lot of benefits, like pumping up your immune system, reduces heart attack risk, is a natural antibiotic, and more. The countries that demand this product import it the most are United States, with 86.4 thousand tons. After that one, Netherlands with 43.4 thousand tons, and then China and United Kingdom with almost the same quantity of tons. So the four countries we did a factor ranking where we consider the most important variables like macroeconomic indicators, market indicators, and performance indicators, which finally gave us the result of 3.05, winning United States. So as I said before, Peru is a leading exporter country, taking the place after surpassing Chile last year. The main certifications for USA are the USA Organic and the Fair Trade. The regulations entry rules are the FDI and the USA. In the case of the demand, US market presents a per capita consumption of 950 grams in annual average. The export evolution to USA since 2016 has been increasing, and the expansion to new markets is reaching new countries like Taiwan.
Now I will talk about the profitability analysis. First, we have to specify that we are not going to produce the blueberries, we are going to buy them from local producers located in La Libertad. That is why our cost starts with the purchase of raw material. In this case, the cost is $52,360 for 14 tons of blueberries. And then we incur costs such as internal transport from the producers to our warehouse, which is located in the same department. In this warehouse, the correct storage of the product is carried out at specific temperatures using modified atmospheres with 15 to 20% of carbon dioxide and 15 to 20% of oxygen so that they can be preserved. In addition, sales and administrative costs are considered, as well as the correct labeling and marking in accordance with the US government requirements. Finally, expenses are incurred to issue certificates to ensure that our product is of a high quality and meets all the necessary requirements, which also serves to generate confidence in buyers. Next PPT, please. Okay, now I will talk about the export logistic process. This begins in the warehouse located in La Libertad. After packing, it will be transferred internally from the warehouse to the port of Callao. In this port, the corresponding customs clearance process will be carried out. Then, the international transport from the port of Callao to the port of Miami will take about 16 days. Once the merchandise arrives at the port of Miami, the import customs clearance will be done. And for the associated expenses, we have the internal transport cost from La Libertad to the port of Callao, the customs agents who will perform the customs clearance, and the expenses for services such as loading and stowage, and among other expenses. Then we must add the cost of insurance and freight.
Next, we have the three possible means of payment that we can use for our export and to have a good relation with the importer. First, we have the advance payment that it will be beneficiate us as exporter because we will receive all the percentage of the money. However, this will not beneficiate us for the importer because the product can give it in bad conditions. The second mean of payment is a cash on delivery that the importer, when they receive the product, will pay us. But this will not be so good for us because during the tour it can be a natural disease and we can lose our merchandise and money. Finally, we already choose the document collection. That is the safest mean of payment that guarantees us the future payment with an external bank. We, an importer, will make a deal which establishes the terms and conditions to receive the payment in a long term. In this second slide, as we said before, the most convenient mean of payment is a document collection that it will be guaranteed as the future payment of the importer. This slide we want to show you the process that we did with Bank of America, like a simulation that will establish the future payment that the importer will send us. Okay, in this part, the SWIFT message is a format that we use to send messages to the financial institutions on SWIFT. For this export, that we choose the Bank Scotiabank because it's more convenient for us and bring us much confidence. As my partner mentioned before, we are Blueberri S.A.C. We will send it to Miami. The currency will be in dollars, and it will be the document letter of credit, and some documents required are the commercial invoice, the bill of lading, the packing list, and the certificate of origin that we will see in the next slides. Okay, in this slide, we will have the commercial invoice. That is one of the most important documents in international trade because it contracts and proof of the sale issued by the seller to the buyer. This document describes the goods being sold and the details of the price, the value, and the quantity of goods. Okay, here in the packing list is a document that allows all the people involved in the export process to identify the merchandise. For our export, we need to give this document to the buyer because we will recognize the specific package and the requirements of the packaging in the USA government that they required. And in this slide, we will see the bill of lading. That is a document that serves a legal agreement between the sender and the carrier and details in the type, quantity, destination, or all the food that it will be shipped. This document serves as a receipt for the shipment once the merchandise is delivered to the agreed location. This document is important because the importer can see all the details that we can give and receive in this document. We will see the Incoterm, insurance, and more. Finally, the ultimate document to consider is in this export is a certificate of origin that it's a specific document that certificates the country of origin of the merchandise that are required by certain foreign countries for consumer purpose. It's important, this document, because the importer will know the country of origin that are obtaining their products.
For this part, the company being 1 year and 5 months old can access different credits or loans from banks. That is why, in order to expand into the American market, it will need a largest warehouse where the cold chain can be warranted and is strategically located for the reception, packaging, and transfer to airport for export. We have chosen a warehouse located in Villa El Salvador, which is 2,500 square meters, where it is a warehouse area and offices. After comparing the rates of different banks, the company chose BCP because it has an APR of 6%, offers the possibility of having a virtual modality, saving the cost of sending account statements, and digitalizes the company finances. The warehouse costs approximately $2 million, but only a loan of $8,000 will be requested. That's the difference financed by us. By calculating together with the bank and making a projection of installments, it has been agreed that they will be for a period of 30 months. In addition, we will charge a property insurance based on the bank's appraisal and a mortgage insurance. Give us a fixed monthly payment of $3,032. The interest at the end of the term would be $7,034.
If the company asks the bank for prepayment or total early cancellation of the debt, the bank does not charge penalties nor does it have any restriction, and it's important to emphasize that first payment is made 30 days after the loan is approved. This business cash credit fixed assets was created for the expansion of small businesses and the acquisition of new premises.
Okay, so regarding the next question, shall we use a line of credit? Well, it depends. If the local company already has an export activity consolidated, it would be convenient to request a line of credit to the bank to use in emergency or unforeseen cases, when working with various orders or clients, in which case it is convenient to have money available at all times. However, in the case of our company, we are just recently entering on export activities. Therefore, we would be better off requesting financing for punctual operations for the bank to evaluate periodically. We should also keep in mind that a line of credit also implies the registration and/or administration fees, also vulnerability to interest rate fluctuations, and liability for obtaining new loans. For instance, we shall not request it unless our company were able to take full advantage of its benefits. Now, should we use a joint venture? Well, we should first take a look at what a joint venture entitles. A joint venture is a temporary association between two or more companies, usually members of a common market or industry, in order to invest their assets into the creation of a new entity which has a common objective. This is a great option for insertion of projects onto new markets because both companies maintain their individual identity apart from the newly created entity. In this case, the accordance of a joint venture for a smaller organization such as ours, with limited finance and/or special management skills, can prove an effective method of obtaining the necessary resources to enter a new market alongside a local American business.
In the case of leasing, we decided we'll use leasing for a truck furgon, which costs 90,822 soles. And for the down payment, the BCP Bank is asking for 18,164 soles. BCP gives us a minimum of 24 months, so we ask for 36 months term. The interest rate is of 14% according to the bank. The most important advantage for this is for using the leasing for us will be the tax advantage, which can distribute the tax of assets on terms.
Okay, talking about use escrow. First, we must define that escrow is an arrangement in which a third party is in charge of holding buyer's money until the seller delivers the goods. We should use it because it has the following benefits. First of all, we ensure that the money is deposited to the seller once the goods have been delivered to the buyer. This avoids fraud, and secondly, it helps build a relationship of trust between the seller and buyer during the first commercial transactions.
To answer this question, is there any arbitrage opportunity? It's important to mention that we analyze that it's not convenient for the moment thinking in buying blueberries in another country. During the last years, Peru was having a great impact with the highest cost and a great profit for the Peruvian exporter. However, the COVID-19 and other consequences made that the price go down thanks to the overproduction in the Peruvian markets and countries become more competitiveness. It's important to mention that many countries have more expensive prices and it's not convenient for Peru buying blueberries in another country. Also, we have to analyze the future alternative which need more demand to send our overproduction of blueberries because the USA are affecting the national productivity and Peruvian exporters need to verify the future alternative. As we can see in this presentation, Peruvian blueberries per kilo, it's $7.50 and in the American market, it's $10 per kilo.
With regard to financial instruments for the project, there are shares and bonds, but as the company is so small, it would be not very beneficial to enter the stock market. Although in the future it could be possible to enter this area. Likewise, with regard to derivatives, which include cryptocurrencies, forex, etc., it is a somewhat unstable sector at the moment.
Now, regarding the different ways we can transfer and or receive that payment for different goods and services on an international scale, we are going to review one of the most common methods we use on a daily basis by posing the following question. Could credit cards be a viable cash in advance option in international trade? And moreover, why don't we use wire transfers or credit cards when trading abroad? Well, first of all, credit cards and wire transfers may be used as a cash in advance payment option. Nonetheless, there are a few considerations to take into account. On one hand, credit card transactions under regulation may differ from those of domestic use, as well as greater fees charged by financial entities. Also, international credit card transactions can facilitate the exposure to fraudulent conducts as virtual platforms are much more vulnerable to this type of embezzlement. Finally, this method of payment is highly inconvenient for the importer, as they are the one running the risk of goods not being shipped or not arriving to their destination, as well as being less favorable for their business cash flow. Therefore, this method proves to be highly impractical and risky compared to the traditional means of payment used for international trade.
So the project is sustainable because the company won't use plastic. We are doing computing, which implies recycling electronics, and use cloud and grid computing and also telecommunications. We also will fulfill 4 SDG, which are no poverty, good health, gender equality, and climate action.
Finally, talking about the extra considerations for the current situations, we should take into account the following things. First of all, it's necessary to carry out a deep market study to know the preference of the American consumers. It's also necessary to analyze the political, social, economic, and technological environment, since if this study is not carried out, it's likely that maybe we will omit certain problems that could affect our product. Secondly, we must comply with all the sanitary requirements to place our product in the North American market. This also helps us to generate confidence in the importer. For this, we must issue and send a sanitary certificate confirming the quality of our product. And finally, due to the depreciation of the Peruvian sol, it's important to consider that this currency will continue to fluctuate. This can affect our blueberry sales prices. For this reason, it's recommended to consider an exchange rate insurance.
For the first conclusion, we have that it's expected to keep an increasing continuous growth in terms of sales, not only in the national market, but also in the American market, which be the destination for our exports. The recommendation would be to conduct a market study with the potential joint venture companies in the American market. Because it has a new market, it would be very beneficial for the company to strategic opponent to who knows the new market. For the second part, we have the American market is profitable because the product offers its high demand that allows possible incomes with the new customer trends. For the recommendation in this part is analyze a digital marketing plan from the company's entry to the promotion of these products, offering the health beneficials and ways of preparing creating an exclusive community for our end customers. And for the final conclusion, we have the project in line with the SDGs in the hope of reducing the carbon footprint. The last recommendation will be the establishing in the future a small branch for the company to be able to cover new markets in North America. So it will be very important to access new credits.